point I'm making is why are we acting like new as far as in like roster construction, how it relates to who's getting minutes and not. Like Wanamaker was playing.
Because they're
Chioza was
supposed to
playing
be key contributors this year, man, and they're not doing it. And that's a huge problem because you gave up Gary Payton and Otto Porter to get these guys to play more, but they're not ready. So that's a huge problem, number one. Number two, hold on.
This is what
Hold
it.
on, let me just say one more thing.
But you're doing too much. This is what it looks like when you try to rebuild and win at the same time. You have to give these young guys that don't know how to play
basketball. You're not supposed to do that, bro. Mark,
yes,
you're not supposed to do that. No, you're not.
Yes, you are.
No, you're not.
Because nobody's ever done it before. The Lakers have never done it. The Bulls have never done it. No dynasty's ever done it.
Right.
San Antonio couldn't do it. They tried with what's his name with Kawhi. He bounced.
And Aldridge.
Never happened.
Right.
They're trying something that's never been done before. No dynasty has ever continued from one group to the next.
Okay, so why would they do that now?
Because they're trying to do something nobody else has ever done. They don't want to go through bad years like all those other franchises.
Jesus Christ, man.
I'm confused. Like,
they played 6 games now, right? They've played 6 games and they've given up 120 points and like 5 of them, 4 of them. Like there's levels to problematic and there's levels to bad.
So do you know somebody that's better at coaching than Kerr? Are you doubting Steve Kerr? Are you the professional that's saying I know more than Steve Kerr? Is that what you're saying?
Mark, what are we doing?
I'm asking you a question because you're doubting the professionals at the highest level at their jobs.
Steve Kerr, like
you're doubting the players
last year?
I've been here for man. Don't start with me, man. You talking to the wrong guy. I'm trying to give you some insight.
We were fighting against Steve Kerr throughout this. At least I was fighting him throughout the season until the changes came.
Why?
Hold on. Hey, Jim. You know this is Jordan Poole's trainer, right?
I know he's Poole's trainer.
Okay, all right. Anyways, go ahead.
He's asking weird questions.
Some context to the conversation. That's all. Go ahead.
Urkel is funny, man.
Hey, Jordan looked good tonight, though. I would argue he was the best player on the floor tonight.
He should have got like
outside of
looks.
Steph, he was number 2
in the first half. When he wasn't shooting wide left of the backboard in the fourth quarter.
I just want to say one thing about the whole Wiseman situation because I want, he's a young player and I want him to have a good career. I want him to develop properly.
Just not with the Warriors. We got it.
Just not with the Warriors.
We got it.
Where he's not under a microscope because he's playing for a championship favorite, right? Correct. We all came into the season assuming that the Warriors are championship favorites. And that's a lot to ask of a kid who came into the league without the ability to defend. That's a lot to ask of a center who needs a lot of time to develop.
Jim, did they win the championship without him?
Jim, do you know that Otto
Can they do it again?
Do you know that Otto?
They don't have Gary Payton. They don't have
do it again. They can do it again.
Freaking solid ass veterans that came in ready to play for them.
But they don't need him. They don't need Wiseman to win a championship.
But they don't.
They don't.
But he's eating up space.
He's not preventing them from winning a championship. Because it's going to be 8 freaking players in the rotation in the finals, Jim.
Right now, they're playing 11 players. I don't understand why.
Yeah, name me that reliable 8, Guzzle, please.
Hey, Jim.
Name me the reliable 8. Please.
It is yet to reveal itself, but we didn't know what GP was going to be either.
I was saying the championship since November. Come on.
The guys who started
Let me ask you this.
I'm pissed off, Jim.
We're good, guys.
I love this internal strife.
What can I say?
It is true though that remember in those middle months with from December to February with the rotation, and I was trying to explain to you that I trust in Kerr until he fails us. I trust in Steph until he fails us. I trust in what they're doing on the floor in terms of rotations, how they distribute minutes, how they distribute lineups. I trust in that until proven otherwise. I said that, and I know that what Steve Kerr does in the playoffs is different than what Steve Kerr does in the regular season post 2016.
Y'all tripping? You're acting like we didn't miss the playoffs in 2021. With a healthy Steph Curry, with a healthy Draymond, with a healthy Andrew Wiggins, with Jordan Poole, who they sent to the freaking G League falsely, by the way, because they wanted to play Brad fucking Wanamaker. And you're telling me, do you think you know more than Steve Kerr? Come on, man.
Jordan
what are we doing here?
Was bad. Jordan Poole was bad.
You got to admit, that was an outlier year. that was not a normal year. Like,
Yeah,
why?
Jim, we're still winning
He
the
had to run the
championship,
That
man.
was
motion
the
offense, and he
tank
never had
year.
the ball,
We
bro.
Who's
tanked.
He
beating
never even
us?
had the proper
We fucking
opportunity
tanked.
to show what
Jim
he
is
could
going
do.
Super Saiyan.
Jim. Think about it.
Bro,
This
we
this comes
tanked.
after. But Jim, this comes after
His
when Bob
hand. He only
Myers.
played five games.
Bob Myers goes on radio the day after the play-in and says, "I didn't think Steph could do this." Like these dudes,
Mark,
Steph has made these dudes. I'm gonna say it. Like, this is why when people say like the organization they're good at drafting, they're good at this, they're the curse system and shut the fuck up. It's Steph, and that's all it is. It's Jordan, and that's all it is. It's Kobe, and that's all it is. It's Duncan, and it's all that is. It's all there. Every organization can fucking be reduced to an all-time great. So I don't want to hear the others. The others matter, but really, if you don't have that guy, you're fucked.
Got to have an all-time great.
My point is this, Jim. That Warriors team should have never been 6 games over 500. That Warriors team should have never gone 15-5 to end the season. That Warriors team should have never even been in the fucking play-in with the Lakers at the buzzer. That Warriors team should have lost to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were a better team.
No.
Yes, they
That is
were.
bullshit. Dre, listen to me. That is bullshit.
Bro,
The Warriors went on a 15-5 run to end that season. If they didn't give up 16 of the first regular season games because they wanted to give the minutes to Wiseman. If they saw what I saw right away with Wiseman, I wanted him benched for after game 4, but they dragged it until game 16 with Steve Kerr talking about why should we try to compete? Why should we try to win games this year? Meanwhile, you have the greatest player of all fucking time on your roster, healthy, playing Draymond Green, playing at a defensive player of the year level, and you're telling me that they didn't have enough to win? Get out of here, man.
Jim, take a breath.
They were starting Kent Bazemore.
And then they missed the playoffs. They
Michael
should have been
Mulder.
one of the top 4 teams in the league. And Steph Curry should have won MVP that year. But no, Steve Kerr didn't want to win games. He was literally telling what freaking coach?
Pull up. Let Jim cook, man. Andre, let Jim cook. I'm sorry. Hey, go ahead, Jim. I got people talking over you, man.
What coach with like the best player on the planet comes out and says to the public, why should I try to win games? Why should I try to win games in a year like this? You had Draymond Green. You had Andrew Wiggins. You had Jordan Poole. You had solid pieces. And you went on a 15-5 run to end the season to prove that you could have done that all season long. Instead, you ran some bullshit offense. You ran bullshit players. You ran Wanamaker for half the fucking season until the freaking front office had no choice but to trade his ass so that Kerr couldn't play him anymore. Don't tell me about Steve Kerr knows better than everybody.
It's fire on you. I'm fire, Jim.
Jim.
Oh my gosh, man.
Roast him, Jim. Roast him.
Jim, it's very simple.
And I don't have a problem with Steve Kerr this year, man. I feel like he's done some things that are pretty good. I think this is not a Steve Kerr issue. So I'm not even bashing on Steve Kerr. It's just that Mark provoked me with this. You think you know more than Steve Kerr shit, and it just got me triggered, man. That's all it is.
It's a fact. You don't know more than Steve Kerr. It's a fact.
And Kelly Oubre we trust, man. And Kelly Oubre we trust.
Jim. You made
Shadows
some points,
Steve
Kerr. Jim, you made some points, but at the end of the day, we had Michael Mulder as your 7th man. That ends the story. The story ends there. Like, you act like we play Utah, we beat them. Fine. We maybe compete in the second round. Fine. But this thing of like we were on a trajectory to win the title that year is just not realistic, dude. All I'm gonna say is this. Do I agree that we could have done more to compete that season? Of course. Of course we could have done more. We could have ran better lineups. We could have taken winning seriously in the moment. We could have not sent Jordan Poole to the G League instead of at the expense of or played Wanamaker at the expense of Jordan Poole. We could have done a lot of shit like that. And that's been I'm never going to deny those issues. But my issue is this. It's not even about like what the result is. It's about the process. So you're telling me that Jordan Poole then was as good as Jordan Poole last year? Of course not. But why? Because he had to get reps. And I'm not saying that Wiseman needs reps because at this point, even though it's relatively early, I still feel like the way it's trending, it doesn't look great. But like even a guy like Kuminga, who you're not high on, I still think if he has enough reps, he can be a plus defender. But Jordan Poole doesn't become what he is if he doesn't get reps. And my point is this. When you have Michael Mulder and JTA as your 7th and 8th guys, when you run an 8-man rotation for 3 months to go 15-5, they went 15-5 because they ran a playoff rotation. Steve Kerr likes to go 10 deep. Last year, they were playing Chioza. They were playing Belly. They were playing all these guys, and you weren't happy with that. But it was part of the process because Belly, when his name was called upon in the playoffs, he played okay, relatively speaking. And defensively, he wasn't what he was in the regular season for a reason because he's more comfortable. They ran certain sets, they ran certain schemes in the playoffs that they had reps doing in the regular season. And that Warriors team was bound to break down in 21 regardless. That was not a sustainable thing. And there's a reason they lost 2 play-in games. Like, by the way, if Kelly Oubre doesn't get hurt, I don't even think they go 15-5 because he was dragging their net rating down as well in historic fashion.
Great. So let me say this about how the team was being coached. Part of the problem with the offense was that it was all motion offense. They refused to run pick and roll. They refused to mix it up, right? And that was a part of the problem with Wiseman because Wiseman didn't just look bad defensively, he looked horrible offensively as well, right? He literally came out after the third game talking about, I'm confused out there. I don't know what's going on, right? And yet Steve Kerr made no adjustments to the offense to make sure to simplify things and just play pick and roll with the guy. Because as we can see, you run pick and roll offensively, at least he can score, right? He's pretty good offensively doing that, right? Same thing with Oubre. You could have simplified for him, but no, you have to be stubborn and you have to just run the motion offense to the ground. And when things finally started to change and they went 15-5, that's when the offense became Steph Curry centric. He started playing a lot more pick and rolls. He was towards the end of the season, he made guys like Joel Embiid, Jokic, all these MVP condenser, whatever. He ran into them and he made them look silly. Like he made them look stupid for even comparing them to the likes of Stephen Curry. Okay, they didn't do that soon enough. Plain and simple.
They were going full force though because they had to. Because Steph put it all aside and he put his foot down and his pride came first. This was a pride thing. If you read between the quotes, not you, but anyone read between the quotes post game, Steph, every fucking post game, and then reflecting on that season, he'd always say, it was my pride. Like, you have a sense of pride that leads you to not going out like that. So there's a reason they went full throttle to win every possible game they could to get themselves in that position. They were going at a 10 when they should have been going at a 7 or a 6 in a normal year. But they went at a 10 because they scrapped everything. And here's the thing with the motion stuff. The motion stuff is the backbone of how this team operates. So my whole thing is this. There's going to be growing pains. Last year, you were frustrated. You and a lot of other people were frustrated about how they were running a lot of motion stuff.
And they were winning games.
And they were winning games. They were winning games because...
They were winning games until Draymond went out. And then they were not winning games. Let's be real.
Then they changed how they played.
They won 9 in a row without Draymond.
The only reason they ended up in the 3rd seed was because of that 18-2 start. If they don't go on that 18-2 start, who knows where they would have ended up last year.
Like, let's not ignore that.
Yeah, but the only reason they weren't a 1 seed was because Draymond got hurt and Clay missed half a year and Steph got hurt at the end of the year. My point is this.
I want to hear from Mark. Is Mark still here? Mark should have a chance to reply.
Listen, some of the things that guys don't really understand about, a player playing pick and roll offense for like the majority of the season, like one individual player, is a lot of wear and tear, on his body. And with Steph having him on the ball so much doesn't necessarily mean a good thing. You know what I'm saying? The ball needs to move for their offense to be able to, play. You know what I'm saying? Guys, it's a catch and shoot situation. You want a lot of those.
Times, right? Like the growing pains, right? Like there's going to be a curve.
If you guys actually look at how they're playing, like I'm rewatching this game right now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of situations where guys aren't boxing out. You're talking about Draymond not boxing out. You're talking about all these guys not boxing out. So about the fact that the Pistons played their ass off. Like when you're playing against the team that just won the championship and you're a young team, like they have an X on their back, so everybody's giving them their best game. Now, is that going to last? No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? Most NBA players, elite players, it takes them between 15 to 20 games to really get their legs. You know why? Because the season has been kind of like training camp has been shortened. See, back in the days, training camp was more than a month long and they played 10 preseason games. They only play 5 now. So you got to think of the first 5 games of the season is really like preseason games per the old NBA standard. So guys are really still trying to figure out their lineup and so forth. Because if you guys think the Brooklyn Nets is still going to stink most of the year, if you think the Clippers are still going to stink, most of the year, that's unrealistic. Like things will turn around, and when you're a championship contender team, you care more about how you guys look in February and March than you do in
Facts.
November.